So we're here with Jay Kacherski, who is going to be a new transplant to South Texas.
Yes, yes.
So tell us a little bit about what you do and what brings you to South Texas.
Yeah. So I've been living in Louisiana. I've been Lake Charles, but I teach in New Orleans and Lake Charles, and run a festival in Houston. But this past year, we've had a nice, there was an opportunity for a job position at Corpus Christi, Delmar College. The one and only Philip P. Ran that position since 1988. It's a full-time position.
And that's the classical guitar
guitar professor position, tenure track, the whole 9 yards. So I threw my hat in the ring and didn't hear anything for a little bit, and then got an interview and won the position. So I'll be starting there in the fall, so this August. So
outstanding.
I'll be moving. I'm back in Texas, so I've been trying to get back in Texas. Although I love Louisiana, I really do. I've grown quite fond of my Louisiana neighbors and everyone, but it'll be nice to be back in Texas. I'm in the Texas Guitar Quartet, so I was the only one member that wasn't in the quartet. So
was there some contemplation of kicking you out for that reason?
A little bit, but then we wouldn't be able to use our fun joke of renaming the band Latex.
Oh, that's right.
We couldn't use that, so now we can't use that anymore. So I'm not in Louisiana anymore, but...
So what initially brought you to Texas?
Texas for me was Adam Holtzman. So I studied at UT. I applied for one doctoral position, one school, took a chance. I wanted the Holtzman experience, and so I just applied, and luckily he let me in the program.
So that's Adam Holtzman.
Big mistake on his part, but
UT Austin, right?
UT Austin, yeah. And that's where I met all the guys in the quartet, Isaac Bustos, Aliana Montiel, and Joseph Palmer. So we all kind of overlapped. And but I was not part of the group at that time, so it was much later. So. Yeah. So
you met them in school.
Yeah.
And how did they approach you to bring you into the Texas Guitar Quartet?
Yeah. That was happening in 2017. That was an interesting year. Someone was leaving the group, and so they said, "Would you like to audition?" So I thought about it, and I said, "Yeah, okay."
So
absolutely.
What were those circumstances? Did they take you out for a nice meal, or
they
did they corner you in a room?
They sent me a bunch of rep, and they said, "Prepare all this rep. We're going to come in, and you're going to rehearse with us."
Wow!
So they brought in several people.
Audition.
Yeah, like real deal. Closest we get to like an orchestra rehearsal, or audition. And there was no blind curtain though. But we met in Austin. We met up in Austin, and we rehearsed, and it just it synced right off the bat. We just lined up really well, and so I got the job, and was really happy about that. And subsequently, we did a bunch of great things for the last 5, 6, 7 years now as part of the group. One of them was coming down here for a residency in Brownsville.
Oh, that was great.
Yes.
You guys played in several schools. You played downtown for the George Ramirez Performing Arts Academy.
A lot of neat outreach concerts.
Oh, yeah. And did concerts and a round table. It was just great. And awesome. Immediately following that was the pandemic shutdown.
Let's not duplicate that on this trip here.
No. I can see no causal relationship between your presence in Brownsville and a pandemic.
Yeah.
So
we're not that good. We know that much
about. Would that anybody's influence could be that powerful, but not in quite that direction.
Yeah.
So you've been playing classical guitar for how long?
I started really late, so I have quite an interesting route, and if you give me a few minutes, I can kind of give you my little background spiel. I started off, playing piano growing up. I built a guitar in 5th grade. I really wanted a guitar.
Was this like
I drew
a
pictures
cigar
of
box
guitars.
guitar?
This was plywood. There was always some construction going on, something going on. So we had a garage full of tools and wood in my house, and so we were always doing something in there. And so I had a 2x4 for a neck. I had plywood gauge up with a little sound hole and rubber band for strings, and I think it was on display in my 4th grade or 5th grade class, and so I just always wanted a guitar. I didn't get a guitar, so I just never got one. Parents were like, you're going to play piano, so I played piano. Quit piano middle school, picked it up because of Billy Joel. So I owe Billy Joel a debt of gratitude for getting me back into music, really. And so I just got a Billy Joel book, and I was playing piano all day long, started composing my own stuff. But I was a tennis player, so after high school, I spent a year at a tennis academy in Florida playing tennis 8 hours a day.
Wow.
So it was at that time that I bought my first guitar. So I got a little Fender Squier Bullet, little PV amp that I didn't realize for like 2-3 years that it had a distortion button on it. Oh, man. But,
so that was kind of your gateway.
That was it, yeah. So, I mean, Clapton, Santana, Led Zeppelin, all that stuff. I just bought a book and told people, give me a month. I know I can be playing this thing. So, so that just kind of pinfilled. I went to Florida Southern College to play tennis. I got a minor in business, major in Spanish. But at that time, I started taking music courses. So luckily they let me. So I took piano lessons. I took Theory 1, Theory 2, all the theories, the histories, and
how did you discover classical?
Yeah, so I finally got guitar lessons. So this was before you can register online. For those young kids out there, you had to actually go to a building and register. I signed up for guitar lessons at one. I do have one. This is a funny story. I have one F in my college. And it is for guitar, classical guitar, because I signed up for lessons with the wonderful, sweet Dr. Mark Switzer, and he was not there full time. I tried to go and to the door, and this was like email was just starting, and so and I wasn't exactly on the ball, and so I never called. Apparently, I never, and so. And I forgot to drop the class. So he's thinking, this Jay guy is what a loser. I'm going to give him an F. and I deserved it. But so I got an F in classical guitar, ironically, and now I'm a professional classical guitarist. So, I finally, my senior year, I got lessons, and Mark was like, well, it's too bad you're graduating. Your setup is great.
So how old were you then? 20?
I was 22 when I started classical, yeah.
Wow.
So I did the 6-year plan in undergrad and stayed an extra 2 years to finish a BA in classical guitar. So, and then auditioned for master's programs right away. I got a scholarship to go to Eastman School of Music. And so
wow.
I didn't turn that down. And so, so I went. So then I was back up in New York. Did the master's with Nicolaus up there.
Manhattan?
No, in Rochester, New York.
Oh, okay.
Rochester.
With Eastman.
Yeah,
okay.
Eastman. Yeah. Cold country, so it's there's nothing you can do besides practice all day. And so I did. I had a lot of time to make up. So I had I always said I got 10 years to make up here in 2 years.
So what is it about the classical guitar that drew you to that kind of music?
Yeah. Well, I grew up listening to classical music all the time. So my dad plays classical piano. He sings opera.
Wow.
He's a dentist by trade, but he's plays amazing piano. He plays Gershwin. He can improvise. So I grew up with classical music all the time. When we were in the car, there was no rock station going on in my car. It was NPR, classical radio, talk radio, or just classical music in general. So it was well in my ears. I mean, I knew it. It wasn't a foreign thing. And the classical, I got into flamenco first. The Doors Spanish Caravan intro. Spanish Caravan. I was like, I got to get a nylon string guitar.
Also known as Asturias.
Exactly. So many people don't know that. They're like, what? But
originally written for piano and has gained fame as a guitar piece.
Exactly. Most popular as a guitar piece. Exactly. That was the entryway through flamenco first, and then finally got some lessons, and I really just really liked it. The thought of, you're in Florida playing tennis every day. It's really hot, arduous work, out in the sun, sweating like crazy, and competing, harsh environment, running laps and all that stuff. Or you can be in the AC with a cup of coffee, playing some Tariga, and I was like, okay.
So you'd only be an athlete from the elbows down.
Exactly. So I was like, this is a nice change, and I really like this, and I want to see how good I can get, because there was potential right off the bat and natural ability. So I was like, I want to really give this a whirl and see what I can do with it. So,
did you gravitate to some particular types of music, Baroque, modern, folk-oriented?
Yeah, I really love the music of Villalobos. That kind of was the first composer that really just grabbed me, and it just made sense. I love, it's just such a visual stuff too, but the sounds and the way he wrote his pieces.
Yeah, very individual kind of compositional style, and really fits the instrument.
Exactly, yeah. Wonderful sounds, all that French Impressionism, and neat sounds and techniques and stuff. So, so immediately Villalobos, boom, I was sold. But heard things like Rolandians. I heard Koyunbaba. I remember one of my early concerts I went to, I heard Koyunbaba, and I was just, whoa, I got to play that.
The Asturias of the latter 20th century, because everybody picked that one up too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a pretty mind-blowing piece when you hear it the first time, especially if you've been steeped in the traditional repertoire, and then all of a sudden I want to learn that, and then you discover it's in C-sharp minor tuning, and classical guys and gals don't normally do open tunings other than a drop D. Yeah. So welcome to the club of open tunings, right?
Exactly. Because I had done a lot of dadgag tuning stuff prior to that. So Black Mountain, Led Zeppelin, White Summer, Black Mountain Side. I worked on that a bunch and had a whole... I just kind of went off on that tuning. So I just really, really liked that tuning. So I wasn't.
So does Andrew York?
Yeah, exactly. Which was another one. So Sunburst, I played Sunburst. So I heard Sunburst. And so, my senior recital had, Koyunbaba and Sunburst, Villalobos.
So it was as much an effort in learning how to tune quickly and keep the intonation happening as the repertoire itself.
Yes. So fun fact on Koyunbaba, I mean, everyone usually knows this already, but you don't have to go to C-sharp minor. You can go to D minor, and that allows you to keep your basses just in drop D. So you can do D, A, D, and then you take the G up to an A, you take the B up to a D, and then your first string up to an F.
Right.
And that just allows you to be a little more stable. It's still a pain in the butt, but it's a little more stable. It's a little quicker to get into than, because if you have everything changes but your first string, it's a mess.
The second string is usually a problem.
Yeah. But I think the piece is well worth it. I've gotten a lot of mileage out of that piece, and audiences love it. It's fun to play.
It is. It's super fun to play because it sounds like, this must be impossible. How many eons did it take to get this down? Exactly. And you don't tell anybody, well, these two movements are basically one finger.
Yeah, exactly. Trade secrets.
That's right.
This is very difficult, folks.
But the others are practically impossible, right?
Yeah.
At least that's what we tell the audience.
Exactly. So those were some early influences for composers and got me into it. I did a cello suite also on that recital, so I love.
So I got into
Bach stuff. So I got into Bach, and of course that was incredible, and really loved those. I remember telling my teacher, I'm never going to get sick of playing this, and then he looked at me, he's like, eventually you'll get sick of this piece.
In 20 years you'll be sick of the prelude.
So
but there's something about Baroque music, but Bach in particular, that affects the way you think and feel as you're playing music. It's like a craftsmanship kind of construction that you follow along like a fine tapestry or wood carving or painting. It exists on so many levels, and it's incredible. It's like you go down the rabbit hole in discovery with these different levels, how different musical ideas are used, how one complements the other, the options for how to interpret them. It's practically limitless.
Exactly.
And for some reason, it just feels great at the end of it, as well as you're doing it. It's like something of it has been left in your mind that makes it healthier for some reason.
Yeah, no, it's so dense. It's so smart and intelligent, yet has so much emotion in it. I mean, I'm still like, well, how do I want to phrase that? You know, and there's so many options. You can articulate it so many different ways, and you can work it with students, and it's so fun to rediscover a piece, you know, and that you had played a while ago. Like, oh, now I might do it this way, or so it just has this unlimited options of discovery in it. And it's just so exciting to learn this rep. But
so you mentioned
a little difficult.
Yeah, a little bit, because there's so much happening. It's not just the mechanics or the gymnastics of playing this, but just how it's constructed, how to follow it, how to moment.
How to keep an audience engaged for an 8-minute fugue.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't even try.
Take that fugue out of there.
So you mentioned doing this stuff with students. What do you find rewarding about teaching?
Yes, well, a lot. That's a good question. Certainly, when you see students just really engaged, really falling in love with the material, with the process of being a musician, you know. So when they're not asking me how long do you have to practice, you know, and they're just like showing me YouTube videos and sending me YouTube videos of this, and they're doing their practicing, and they're just into it, and they're setting up concerts on their own, and they're just really, they get it, you know, and that's really, I've been blessed with a lot of great students, talented students, and so it's really fun to work with them. At the same time, it's really fun to work even with all ages, but also all levels too. So I love working with beginner students, getting them going, show them the right things, and seeing how they progress and really start falling in love with classical guitar.
So it's kind of like an immersion into this. And you mentioned, I think, very aptly that it's a process. Most people, when, especially if we start late, we look at it and, oh, I want to do that, and I want to do it now. Yeah. And the idea of a process is kind of a remote concept. And it's enjoying the whole thing as you're doing it, as you're acquiring all of those abilities, and getting aware of what sound is and how to create that sound in a way that is not, you know, just rife with anxiety and tension, and just being able to relax into that whole process. And the immediacy of physically creating that sound is pretty magical.
Oh, absolutely. Your tone is rife with anxiety. I have to use that one. That's great. It's another way of saying yes.
I think I might own the trademark of that phrase, but you're welcome to use it.
Oh, that's beautiful. But yeah, it is a process, and it's a lifelong process. And so it's really all about, I mean, I grew up with the whole sports background, the tennis background. I mean, we know how to train. I've hit millions of forehands, millions of backhands, millions of slice backhands, millions of topspin, volleys, overheads. I mean, so the idea, you know, with guitar, we have all these techniques, the slurs, the raschiatos, the arpeggios. That was just, for me, my forehands, my backhands, you know, it just fit perfectly. So I was all about training and wanting to train. So it was.
So the training mentality of having to do the basic stuff. You have to do your rope work. You have to do your road work. You have to do all the basic things that allow you to be eventually free to do what is best for you and what works for you really, really well. So there are certain commonalities in all of that. But once you have that foundation, you're really free to use your understanding of your own best way in a really efficient manner. And then magic.
To reach your artistic, so to create your artistic from a foundational point of strength. So absolutely. So that's it was a no-brainer for me. It just made perfect sense. So I was all in. And I didn't have time there was a sense of urgency. I was 22 years old. Usually you're basically, almost done with school anyway at that point, and you're going to start your life. And I'm starting a brand new, ridiculous endeavor of trying to be a professional classical guitarist at 22. So I had no time to ask that question, how long should I practice? Because the answer was 8 hours a day or as much as you possible, and try to, make up for lost time. And so
it sounds just from your description there that you came to this with a very focused achievement attitude.
Absolutely.
And you paired that with your understanding of athletic ability and skills acquisition, and immediately transferred that to the guitar. And like a lot of folks that come to music making that way, especially on guitar and piano, it's that question of how long you should practice, and the next question is, are you practicing right now? And if the answer is no, it's not enough.
It's not enough. There's always work to be done. So much to learn.
Yeah, but we know now things like healthy practice regimens and that sort of stuff to avoid inevitable injuries in that pathway.
Yes.
And to also give a little space for life, which we know informs our expressive ability and broadens our way of thinking about every sort of expression.
Absolutely.
So
that's why I think it was good that I had such an interesting background where I wasn't playing. I didn't start when I was 3, and my life was classical music only. I had, I was out running around and camping and riding bikes and playing sports. And so I had a very typical, unlike my wife, who started really early, and she has memories of not being able to go outside and play because she had to practice. I never had that experience.
Sounds
my parents
very traditional.
set us free, and we lived out in the suburbs, and we just ran. So it was nice, and I had all these different backgrounds.
So what does your wife do as a musician?
Yeah. My wife's a pianist, Lina Morita. She's a beautiful Japanese Brazilian pianist. We met at Eastman, and she got the teaching position at McNeese State University in Lake Charles about 17 years ago. So that kind of lodged us and made that our hub for the last good bit. And So, and we have our duo. So we've been playing since 2005. We did a concert in 2005 in Eastman together.
You have a new recording out?
Yes. So our recording is called Landscapes, and it's all music written for guitar and piano, minus one track, which is an arrangement of the Defia's Spanish Dance number 1.
Cool.
Great arrangements by guitarist and wife combo Flegel and Emily and something Amelia and. Shoot, I forgot his first name, Flegel, a really nice arrangement of that piece. But what we wanted to do was put all new works. So we really wanted to build this genre because there's both a lot of stuff for guitar and not much at all, you know? So it's...
Going back to Hummel.
Yeah, exactly, right. So...
who was an early 19th century German composer.
Exactly, yes.
Or wait, was he Austrian?
Oh, geez.
Oh no, I could get in trouble.
Sounds right.
I think maybe he was in Vienna.
Yes.
So
right.
Well, I'll say Austrian because I have a bunch of Austrian friends, and I don't.
Right. Well, they'll let us
I have
know
a bunch of German friends too, so it's all good. It's all good. So where can people find this recording?
It was recorded on the Frameworks Records label. Old Eastman friend of mine, Dave Islaki, started that record company, and he's got Marcin Dill on there. He's got a great whole ton of really great artists on there. So we're really
including yourself, right?
Including ourselves, yes. So my solo CD is on that as well, and our duo and our upcoming Texas Guitar Quartet CD as well.
Excellent.
So that's been recorded as well.
Do you have a website where people can look at this?
Yeah. So let's see. We have the website is www.frameworksrecords.org. So frameworksrecords.org. My website is kacherskiguitar.com.
And there are links there,
there are links
too,
in
right?
there. I believe the tracks are on YouTube for the solo, but for some reason we have to get the duo one, because when you put it on Amazon or you put it on iTunes and all that stuff, it usually kind of makes a duplicate and makes YouTube videos out of it. So, but it should be available on all those Apple Music and everything. So
Okay, folks should check out Frameworks.
frameworksrecords.org. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very good. Very good.
And yeah. But we were really trying to get new music for guitar. So we have for just a few works that were really notable. A great piece by Olga Alakina Vera, who teaches in Texas.
Yes,
and
she's
great
been in
composer.
Plano for a long time.
Yes. And so she's been winning awards now. So I got her right when she was just on the cusp of her success, and
And less expensive to commission works.
Caught her just at the right time, and she wrote us an absolutely wonderful piece, a large work. It's about 12 minutes or so. It's called. It's a homage to the French writer Saint-Exupéry, and it's all about his book Wind, Sand, and Stars. And so it's a very descriptive, programmatic piece where he was, for those that don't know, Exupéry was besides a fantastic writer of the book, like The Little Prince, I think it's one of his most famous ones. He was involved in early flight, so he was flying around. And he has all these stories doing mail courier via the air, and all these stories. Of
So 100 years ago, early flight.
Yeah, early flight, where he was caught in a storm and crash landed in the Sahara Desert and was getting shot at, and all these things. He was in the war as well, and so. He was really a unique and amazing guy, and his life was fantastic. And she kind of made a piece to showcase.
Sounds like quite the adventure.
Yeah.
And Olga Alakina Vera has been composing for guitar and other types of musical environments for a long, long time. Folks can check her out too online. Just incredible composer and very productive and amazing to work with.
Somehow she's getting better and better. Seems like it's just amazing. So she's really hit her stride.
So you're also doing some concerts here in the Valley.
Yeah. So am I? What am I doing down here? So, my wife is performing and teaching at the piano camp.
That's right. Here in Brownsville. That's right. That's what brings you down.
That's what brought me down,
Okay.
and so we'll do some guitar classes after this at Edinburgh and here at
UTRGV. We have the Brownsville campus that you'll be serving this afternoon with some of our local students. And then you're going to do the same gig in Edinburgh with some of our guys and gals up there. So you get to traverse the valley and disseminate your expertise in all of this really amazing music making.
Yeah, wonderful. Looking forward to it. Thank you. Really, this has been a privilege to come out here and talk to you, and an honor. And I'm excited to work with your students later on today. So thank you so much.
We'll see you soon.
Mike.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. You bet.
Thanks for watching this BSPA video. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe if you like what you see. And if you really like what you see, go ahead and go to our website, brosoperformingarts.org, and smash the donate button. And then we'll really like you too.